Once, there was a young, arrogant bull who believed he knew everything. His horns were grand and magnificent, and he often boasted about them to anyone who would listen. He'd stand at the watering hole, puffing out his chest and bragging about his strength, his speed, and his intelligence. One day, as he was drinking from the water's edge, an old weathered bison appeared, quietly making his way to the same spot. The bull looked at him, sneering slightly. "What do you want, O bison?" he asked, puffing himself up. "I'm sure you're here to admire my horns. They're far superior to yours, aren't they?" The bison, wise and calm, merely dipped his head in acknowledgement. "Your horns are fine, young bull," he said in his deep, rumbling voice. "But there is more to life than strength and pride." The young bull scoffed. "More? I already know everything I need to know. Look at my horns. No one could be wiser than I am." The old bison said nothing more. Instead, he turned to drink, when suddenly the sky darkened and clouds rolled in fast. The wind picked up, whipping through the trees, and thunder rumbled across the sky. A fierce storm was coming, faster than anyone had anticipated. The bull, panicked, began to flee. "I'm not staying around for that," he shouted. "I'll outrun it. I'm faster than any storm." But the old bison, instead of running, turned toward the storm, walking calmly and deliberately toward its approach. The bull, confused and angry, called out, "You fool, what are you doing? The storm will tear you apart." The bison looked over his shoulder, his voice soft but firm. "Sometimes, young one, the best way to handle the storm is to face it directly." The bull, full of pride and fear, didn't heed the bison's words. Instead, he ran, but as he fled, he found that the storm followed closely behind. He struggled against the wind and rain for days, exhausted and battered by the relentless weather. He had no shelter, no relief, and his body ached with the struggle. Finally, after what felt like an eternity, the bull staggered back to the watering hole. His once proud horns were scratched and broken, and his body was worn and bruised. He limped to the water's edge, ready to collapse. But there, to his astonishment, was the old bison, calmly drinking from the watering hole, unscathed, unaffected by the storm. The bull stood there, staring in disbelief. "How?" he asked. "How did you survive the storm? It was terrible. I barely made it through." The bison took a long, slow drink before looking up at the young bull. "I faced the storm head-on," he said quietly. "The sooner you face your challenges, the sooner they will pass. You ran away, trying to escape the storm, but all you did was prolong your suffering. The storm comes for all of us. It's how we meet it that matters." The young bull's ears drooped, and he felt a weight settle in his chest. He had been so sure of his own strength and wisdom, but now, standing before the old bison, he saw the true meaning of resilience. The old bison's eyes softened. It's not always about speed, strength, or the size of your horns. Sometimes true wisdom is knowing when to stand firm and when to face the challenges that come your way. The young bull nodded, a humbling silence between them. He had learned a lesson he would never forget. Running away from life's storms only made them harder to bear.